The time is 11:30 and we will reconvene this Battleground County. Councilmember Bowman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. I'd like to move that any credible claim of hostile work environment or sexual harassment against any sitting council member may not be able to receive city-funded representation.
Say that again, please.
Yeah, sorry, can you read?
I'd like to make a motion that any credible claim of hostile work environment or sexual harassment against any sitting council member, I'll say, will not be able to receive city-funded representation.
Okay, so a motion that any hostile work environment or sexual harassment
claim
would remove that council member from legal,
from the city.
city legal.
They would have to provide their own legal.
Okay,
Where's our deputy mayor at?
she's not here right now. Yeah, would you? We have a motion and a second on the floor. So now we can open this up to discussion. This was not the action I expected to come out of the executive, but could you give a little more context to that, please, Shane? I will. Yeah, obviously. So you're just coming in, Amy. There's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Bowman that any credible hostile work environment or sexual harassment claim towards any city council member will not allow them legal coverage from the city attorney. Is that correct?
Correct. You'd have to provide your own legal
You would have
coverage.
to provide your own legal coverage.
Yes.
And there's a second. So we have a motion, we have a second. And now we're just opening it up to discussion. And I asked Councilmember Bowman for a little more clarity on that, or what's your thoughts? Where's this coming from?
Just any, I think we as a council have potentially done some things that we shouldn't have done as a council or as council members. And there could be potential litigation that follows that. And I just want to make sure that the city and the citizens of Battleground are not paying for council members that are going outside of their role as a council member. And
I would also classify that as an unethical thing, which
very much so.
Also be an ethics violation.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you been made aware of something?
I've watched our meetings and potentially some other stuff. I'm just leaving it at that. So obviously, yes, I have been made aware of stuff if I'm bringing up specific motions like this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll follow that. Oh, Councilmember Herrera, go ahead, ma'am.
Gonna say, this is the concerning part about this council is we talk about unity up here, but yet you have only maybe 2, maybe 3. I don't know. Maybe you're aware of everything that's going on behind the scenes that the rest of us aren't privy to. So here you have some information. This isn't the first time, Councilmember Bowman, that you have some information that the rest of us, oh, I guess I can't say the rest of us, but some of us aren't privy to. So I don't know how we can be unified when there's information that is being withheld from certain council members from other council members.
That's because
Councilmember Munson?
Yeah, I'm sharing the same concern as Councilmember Ferrer. To have this being brought up by another council member, being privileged information that you've been given, and not have the context or understanding, I don't see how we could in good conscience blindside some council member without knowing what's going on. So this is bad optics here.
I told you guys this from my last meeting. If you guys see the other side of this, not here, watch the meeting from the other side. I believe that there was overstepping by council and directions towards staff that could constitute hostile work environment. And so it has been brought up multiple times. Council has continued to do that. I think that there is multiple things that have come out of recent reports that we've had that would show a pattern. And so I don't think it's the responsibility of the citizens of Battleground to pay for council members that don't learn their roles and don't stay within their roles and allow the city manager and staff to do what they do. You know, so you can go back and watch those meetings and make that up for yourself if you want. If you believe that council should be protected in those situations, then go ahead and vote against it. I personally don't. I think this is where AWC comes in. This is where knowing your role as a council member comes in. And this is where being careful what we say from the dais comes in. And not only from the dais, but in all the things that we do. So when I bring up claims, there's other things that have said, and that's not necessarily coming from staff. These are conversations that are heard potentially, or things that have been said that someone else has brought to my attention. So if it is, and it ends up ever being a lawsuit over that, you should have to stand on your own for saying those things.
Councilmember Kuipers.
Thank you. Yes, I don't know specifically what Councilmember Bowman's referring to as far as what the issue is. I guess I'll go back and spend some time watching videos and see if I can figure it out. But the question is, if there's some kind of an allegation and legal representation is required, do we want the city to pay for it? I think that's the bottom line that you're asking. It's the details on what it is and why it is and whatever is yes for another discussion. But the bottom line is you're saying that if this happens, that the council member would have to get their own representation and not have it be paid for by the city. So that's the question. We'll have to get to the other nuances of the issue.
And I did say credible.
I have two comments to that. One, if you do feel that way, I would urge you to put in an ethics complaint versus your council member so the ethics review board can review it. I think that's a proper procedure and channel to do that. Second, I'd love to get Z's take on this. And Z, I apologize. I know it's 11:40 at night and I see you're on here, but have you ever heard of something like this where protection is removed or coverage is removed from a council member for it's a motion ahead of time before any ethics complaint or anything. So there's no allegation of any wrongdoing. It's more of a overarching umbrella of removal of legal protection for a council member.
Yeah, Mayor Overholzer, I guess I'm going to answer your question in the specific and then provide a general answer. Specifically, I have not heard of that. That's not to say it hasn't happened. That's just to answer your question. I have not heard of it. And then my general answer is that under state statute, it's RCW 496-041, traditionally local governments are to provide a defense for its officers for any actions that are taken within the scope of his or her official duties. I'll leave that statement there. Just without knowing, the specific facts of a situation, I'm not going to opine here what would or would not be within the official duties, but I'll just point that out in general that traditionally for actions taken within official duties, the local government is to provide the representation.
Can I ask a follow-up real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Councilmember McCoy.
If I'm understanding that explanation correctly, if somebody did do something completely out of bounds, like sexual harassment or whatever's being alleged, and that was not within their official duties, then they wouldn't have coverage anyway, correct?
I'm going to try to answer the question as best I can, Councilmember McCoy, which is there's a process under that statute I just mentioned where the council member requests that the city council provide the defense, and then the city council has to make a decision as to whether or not that conduct was within the scope of the employment. So to answer your question, Councilmember McCoy, if it is determined that the conduct was not within the scope of the employment after the request is made, then yes, the individual would be responsible for their own defense. Once again, this is just in general, and the specific facts of the situation will actually provide the appropriate analysis.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Z. All right, any further discussion on this motion? Oh, we do have one. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Vale.
Thank you. And so I did come in late to this. I apologize for that. I would say, though, also that if there is something concerning happening, and if there's a council member that's acting in a way that we feel could put the city at risk, I think that that's something that should be brought up to the city manager, at least to say, hey, this is something that I've noticed in meetings. This person is, I don't know what it is, touching somebody's leg. I've seen something happening, and I think that it needs to stop. That could be a great place for re-education. Maybe there's something that maybe an angle of, I don't know, of something needs to be changed. So I think that it's really important that we're always looking out for that, to see, does something look, maybe from the public's angle, something look concerning? And if so, I think that should be brought up to the city manager or Rob or whoever the appropriate person would be, so that parameters can be put on that, so it's not appearing that way anymore. I think that that's really important, that we help hold each other accountable if there's something concerning. Absolutely, for the protection of the city. I think that would be great.
I got to be honest, the more I think about this, the more furious I'm getting. It's a loose-based allegation towards somebody you won't name, that you haven't filed an ethics complaint, but you're asking ahead of time for a motion to remove a legal coverage for that thing. That makes no sense to me. That's about as wise as removing your.
Because if you file an ethics complaint and you do it, it could make it worse for the city.
Maybe you and I can have a sidebar conversation about this, because I'm not picking up what you're putting down, bud. But for one, part of me is getting furious because I don't think somebody should feel like they work in a hostile work environment. I think that's messed up. Sexual harassment. I shouldn't say this from the dais, but tell me who did it. I'll just take them out back. But so those kind of things, I just think it's I hope it's not true. Okay. Well, we have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Hearing no further discussion, let's move to a vote. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. All those opposed, say nay.
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 Motion fails.
Nay.